Hello there.
Welcome back, my friend.
Hello, what have we here?
Jedi, we've been expecting you.
Knew I could count on you.
Hello.
Welcome to the rebellion.
What fun!
What's up, everyone? Hybrid here, and today I am bringing you some absolute peak. If you are a Black Series collector, you know this is a character that is very near and dear to a lot of our hearts, even though he is a little bit of a limited screen time glup shitto. I have the iconic, the legendary, the OG, the coolest, Watto! Hey, an action figure. What do you know? This guy has been long awaited for my collection. And there is, of course, a thing that I will mention on this. There was a packaging error. He is in an Attack of the Clones box. Very much a Phantom Menace Watto. I don't know if there are plans for a running change on this, where he's going to be put in the corrected packaging. Who knows? That'd be really cool. I'd like to see that. That way then I can get the corrected packaging signed at a con someday, maybe. That'd be really cool. But it was just a packaging snafu. They were doing so many things in the Attack of the Clones lineup, it just got ran through like this too. So, not a ginormous issue for me. I'm going to open them up and throw that box away, but it might be one of the more interesting trivias about the Black Series somewhere down the road. So, something to consider. But anyway, very cool looking figure. He's a little guy, which is screen accurate, but there are a lot of accessories surrounding him in the box, so I'm very excited to get him out of the box and review him. So that said, let's get into it and see if this guy needs to be put on your shelf. And here's Watto in the box. It is your standard Black Series box. Again, just in the wrong coloring. You have your Black Series logo up top above a window showing him and his accessories off very well. He's number 12 in the Attack of the Clones lineup. That's the error. Watto 4+, or warning, 4+, Hasbro. There we go. You got Watto hovering there above the Bunta Eve track there, looking really cool. And then his name down at the bottom, around back, around the side, wraparound window, wraparound stripe, and a Black Series logo. Around back, a zoom in of that side art, a Black Series logo once more, and then a bio about him in 5 different languages. Pause and read whichever language best applies to you. He's number 12 in that Attack of the Clones line again. Ugh, what a frustrating error. Bunch of warnings and Disney and Hasbro and barcode and more warnings. Hanger tab up top. Very standard action figure packaging stuff. Let's get this guy out of the box and take a in-depth look at everything going on here. Here's Watto out of the packaging. Let's go ahead and run through some of his accessories. So, much like the Geonosian from earlier this week, some of these accessories put him in an alternate display mode, being this flight stand with a ball joint in the back where it pegs into his back. We'll set that aside. And he also comes with a set of flapping wings. These have a nice motion blur effect. They are a little bit more painted than the Geonosian wings are. I think these might be a better version of the effect than the Geonosian wings, but they are very thick. Therefore, it does add weight to the figure. But we will experiment with those as we dive into the review. Watto, the figure, comes with 3 accessories that you might want to pose him with. He comes with his walking stick, even though he doesn't do a whole lot of walking, but he likes to hover while carrying it. This is actually... It's not dissimilar to Yoda's walking stick. I wonder if they reused some CG assets through the prequels. That'd be funny, right? Yoda's would be a bit smaller, but it has a nice knob up top and kind of the twist through it. It has some nice sculpted wood grain in there. There's no paint to really accentuate it. Part of me almost wishes it had a little bit of a wash, but when's the last time the Black Series put a wash on anything? It's a little bit of an unreasonable expectation. Setting that aside, he comes with his tablet that he watches the race on, because the majority of the pod race isn't even where they're sitting, which was always a little bit of a question to me as a kid. It's like, man, you only see them as they blow through 3 times. You know, you don't even get to see the race. But he has his little tablet. The screen has kind of just a gray color to it, I guess, giving the illusion of being illuminated, but the rest of it is in this brown plastic, a lot of molded buttons, none of which are painted, but it gets the job across. And this might be one of the smallest accessories in the line. It's right up there with Grogu's shifter knob. But we have a Chance Cube, which is just one of the legendary Phantom Menace moments. The roll, blue for the boy, red for his mother, or whatever he said. And then he rolls it, and Qui-Gon, discreetly makes it land on Anakin. But, what do we say? Red, you'll like the video. Blue, you'll subscribe. If you're not, let's give that a little roll. No, well, it came up on blue, but let me do it where you can actually see it. Blue again. So, yeah, that's blue. So we'll go ahead and subscribe if you haven't. Have a little bit of fun there. Now, looking at this guy. Oh my gosh. This guy looks oh so cool. This is the third of the wave of aliens that I have been working through this week. It is a fan channel figure, so you're not going to find it at Walmart or Target. I got him from Amazon. You can keep an eye on places like Big Bad or Entertainment Earth or other fan channels. Nerdzoic, good one there. But just a very, very cool figure. A lot of insane detail, something that we have always said. Oop, as I kick the tripod, my bad. That's the filming quality we have here. Something that we've always said about the Black Series, going all the way back to 2013 with figures like Greedo, is, your human sculpts, and they've gotten really good with those, with the photoreels, but a lot of your human sculpts, they're all right. But the aliens are where they shine, and the OT aliens always seem to peg warm. I just don't think anyone cares about them as much. But these prequel aliens, this is their first go, really kind of diving into the prequel aliens. We got Sebulba, last year, so he's going to pair well with Sebulba. But it's definitely one of those things where I think they're experimenting with the prequel waters, and they seem to really be succeeding. So hopefully this wave does well and encourages them to continue doing more stuff like this. I'd love to get an actual Attack of the Clones Watto where he's wearing his hat and has a scruffy beard and stuff. It would be really cool. But looking at him, just superb. I love his little jacket thing he's got going on, and his belt with all of his pouches and accoutrements and stuff. He's got this this handle on a sleeve with a wire going over to this thing. On mine, you see there's that seam there. Mine was like unglued out of the package. It was just laying loose in there. It looked like something that was meant to be glued back together, so I did that with just a touch of that Loctite super glue. That's my favorite super glues, Loctite. I love his diaper with the little tail hole going on. I mean, Watto is just barely decent here, but I guess you let a lot of skin out when you live on somewhere as warm as Tatooine. I love that he's got that slightly expressive pointing finger on his left hand, and this is a little bit more of a grabbing hand, and those eyes, just so lifelike with a broken tooth on the side. Mind tricks don't work on Toydarians, only money. But man, what a fun guy. I love this figure so much. He's such a rotten, just slimy guy in the movies, but such a meme, As mentioned, there are the swap out wings. I will show you that feature. Much like the Geonosian, they just ball joint in. You can pop those wings out. And this one, you see the ball joint is kind of molded a little bit off to the side, so I think it's going to favor that side. And so this one will favor... Yeah, this one appears to favor this side. Wait, actually, no, I had that one upside down. Okay, there is a curvature to them. So, yeah, that's the way we're going to put these on this guy. I imagine they're somewhat interchangeable, but you just got to look at things. It makes sense. And then he has a ball socket in the middle of his back instead of his butt, so he didn't get an anatomically correct butthole like the Geonosian figure got. But Watto still has a receptacle for his flight stand, and that works so well. He looks like he is truly hovering there, and it is just a very, very good display option. I like how he looks a good deal. Just very, very well done. One thing I was curious about, I may have mentioned, but it is shorter than the stand from the Geonosian. The Geonosian gets him much higher off the ground. A lot of the time, Watto is hovering at about head height for humans, so, they can look eye to eye as they make their deals. But that does peg on there, although it does have him lean a little bit too far back. If your display would have worked with him a little bit higher, you could swap out those stands, but it is not perfect by any stretch. Let's run through some articulation on him. It's one of those things where it's like he's a little bit awkward just because of his anatomy, but they did the best they could, and I respect it. So he has that double ball neck with a joint at the bottom and the top of the neck. Allows him to look that high up, and despite him being a flying character and that not being very much, that's enough for the type of flying he does. He just hovers. He can look down, he can go side to side, he can get a bunch of pivot in there. His arms can come up. Are they ball jointed in there? I don't think so. I don't think there's any butterfly joint going on. Some of the others had ball jointed shoulders. That was bizarre. Not something you get very often. Single jointed elbows go to 90 and swivel, 360 on the wrist, and the left is hinged in and out. The right also hinged in and out, not ball joint. Interesting. As mentioned, the wings are ball jointed. You have a mid-torso ball joints hidden under the jacket. You can crunch them that far forward, that far back. You can give them the old twist at the top of the belly. He has the ball socket hips. He can kick that far forward, pretty far back, although there is a notch in there, so that's a little awkward looking. They can go out, and then there's nothing else going on in the legs. There's a seam there, which almost made me think there was a swivel at the knee, but there's not. It's just a seam, and then the feet hinge and pivot on the hinge, and the feet are also kind of cupped, which is interesting. Not something I'd ever realized about Watto, but they are very large, round feet. It allows him to stand fairly well, nice and balanced. I guess you can make him tip if you really try, but I think he's going to be on most people's shelves with a flight stand anyway. Here's Watto with a little bit of a mixed crew, just to show his scale. He and Sebulba are about the same height. Anakin being a touch taller, I feel that scales correctly. Got that new Padme and the 20th anniversary, or the 50th Lucasfilm retro-carded Qui-Gon in the back, and it just makes for a good Tatooine display, although Padme was not in that outfit. It's just our only Phantom Menace Padme. And then, of course, the other alien figures from this wave. What a superb fan channel wave. Such legendary stuff going on. I gotta say, just Hasbro cooked. So at the end of the day, what do I think of Watto? Oh man, what an insane addition to finally get on the shelf. Just great work from Hasbro. He is so intricately detailed. I love all the paint apps. Just an excellent representation of the character. I'm going to be honest, background aliens have not been a huge priority to me for the majority of my collecting, but it's been because it's always been, man, Ponda Baba and Dr. Evazan and stuff like that from the original movies I don't even really care that much about. Like, give me some of these prequel guys, yeah, you're probably going to get me to buy the set the majority of the time. You know, I slept on Sebulba for a bit. I was a little late to the game with him, and upon getting him, I was like, oh, dang, I should have just got him on day one. I could have enjoyed him that much longer, you know. So Hasbro's really doing some great work with these alien sculpts, and I'm really loving it. Now, I don't think that this type of wave needs to become the norm by any stretch. I think that we still definitely have a lot of main characters we need in the line, but I would happily take like a fan channel wave, like once a year, like 3 figures, and you just start checking some of those boxes for some of these other characters. We got Tan Wee, Lama Su makes sense, you know, Prime Minister Lama Su. So I think he would be really cool to get, you know, maybe in a year or so, you know, in the next fan channel alien wave, you know, assuming it becomes a once a year thing. That's how I'd like to have it be. But yeah, just great work on Watto here. Great work on the others, and just excellent work from Hasbro. I really love these guys. So that's all I got to say. I recommend it, but I also understand if you're like, he's just a smidge too obscure for my shelf. That makes sense too. You know, it's all about collecting what you want, and I am happy that this guy turned out as good as he did. It makes me want him. So I'm going to dip. Thanks for watching my video. May the Force be with you, and I will catch you next time. Until then, have a good one. Bye.